Supply and demand. So supply and demand occurs in the marketplace, which is where people decide the three economic questions. What should be produced, how should it be produced, and for whom it should be produced. So demand is buyers' decisions, what buyers are actually doing, not what they're saying they want. So demand, you might think like someone like telling you you need to do something or begging you. In economics, it's what buyers are actually doing. So if everyone says they want a Bentley, but they're actually buying Toyotas, that means the demand for Bentleys is low and the demand for Toyotas is high because that's what people are actually buying. That's a buyer's decision, that's demand. Supply is what are sellers actually providing. Whether buyers demand it or not, what sellers are actually offering is supply. So where those two things meet, where sellers figure out what to supply to buyers because buyers have decided what they want from suppliers, that's called a voluntary exchange. They're exchanging resources, usually money, for services or goods from buyers from sellers. That's voluntary exchange. So the law of demand, there is an inverse relationship with price and quantity demanded. And the law of demand states that as the price of a product goes up, quantity demanded for it goes down. Let's talk about gasoline. As price of gasoline goes up, people are probably going to buy less. Now, as price of gasoline goes down, people are more willing to buy more. If they're actually buying more, that's the same thing as demanding more, quantity demanded in economics terms. But there's some limiting factors. And again, we're dealing with scarcity. There's unlimited wants, but limited resources. So there's something called real income effect, which is your purchasing power. This forces trade-offs. Purchasing power is what you actually can afford to buy in comparison to what you want or need. So let's give an example, going back to gas. If you have a budget for filling up gas twice a month, but let's say gas prices go up, well, you're going to now you're going to be forced to make a trade-off. You only have a budget to fill up twice a month on, say, $40. Well, if you need $50 to fill up twice, you're going to either have to sacrifice something else that you're buying every month to afford the extra price in gas, or you're going to have to figure out how to sacrifice the use of gas so you don't have to cut your spending from something else that also makes you happy or meets a want or meets a need. And it can go the opposite way too. If gas prices drops and you budget that you can afford $40 in gas to fill up twice a month, well, if now you don't need to spend $40 to fill up twice a month, well, you can use that money for other things now. Your purchasing power has increased. So the more bang you get for your buck, the more purchasing power you have, the more real income you have. Real income meaning not like the actual number of dollars you have, but what does that dollar actually buy? Because you could have you could have lots of dollar bills, but if things are so expensive that you can't afford anything, then the number of bills doesn't matter. So we're talking about the most important thing when we're talking about wealth is, do you have enough money to actually buy things? The actual number doesn't matter if it's purchasing power or real income effect. Finally, there's an issue called utility, which is the power a good or service has to satisfy a want. So let's look at Xboxes. If you're really into gaming, you would love to have an Xbox if you don't have one. You'd just be so excited to get the newest Xbox. And that's going to have a lot of utility for you. Those of you watching who don't care about Xbox, maybe you don't like video gaming that much, you will not want an Xbox because it doesn't bring you any happiness. It doesn't meet a want for you. So if that's you, you would say that an Xbox has very low utility because it's not really meeting any needs or wants that you have. that's utility. The more happiness, the more satisfaction of a want it brings you, the more utility it has for you. Obviously, this is different for each person. There's also a topic called diminishing marginal utility. So one Xbox, let's say if you're a big time video gamer, and you would really get excited when you first open an Xbox, like your first Xbox, and you're so excited, you've got it, you've been looking forward to it. Now, compare your joy of opening one Xbox to opening two Xboxes. Alright, well the second one has some uses. You could have a LAN party. Might be easier to have more friends over to play more multiplayer. And so while it might be a little fun to have a second one, it's nowhere near as exciting as getting that first one. So that means the utility of the Xbox more Xboxes has dropped. Not the first Xbox. That still meets a want to a really high degree. But the next one only has a lesser utility because you don't need a second one so much. A third one might have really low utility, and then after that there's no utility because you don't need so many Xboxes. You can't play them all. You may not have enough friends to play them all at once. Maybe you can't even play games with more than 4 Xboxes. So that's diminishing marginal utility. It's reminding you that just because something is really good for you doesn't mean that more and more of it forever will also be equally as good for you. It starts to have less and less effect. That's diminishing marginal utility. Diminishing means reducing or lessening. That's it. Next time we'll be talking about demand curves. Thank you.